I had to explain to a client that trees have branches and that's how they grow. She was asking why her trusses had knots in them, and her timber apparently shouldn't have any knots in it. It should be of the highest quality.
I had to tell a guy who was 32 years old at work that bacon comes from a pig. He had bloody no idea where it came from, apart from the supermarket.
I had to explain to the miso soup why there is 2 different sized toilet buttons. Also had to explain where the laundry powder goes in the washing machine.
I had to explain to an adult that the white stuff in sushi rolls is rice, not tiny chunks of fish. Oh, my God.
This fish is really nice.
Ken, just the other day, had to explain that the USA doesn't own Canada and that South America as well. Cheap as creepers, the NZ school system really didn't excel in the 90s, did it? Back when I was still staying with the old folks, we used to have a plastic tray for cooking bacon in the microwave. My older sister, let's call her Claire, because that's her mother heckin' name. Well, she'd come home from university for the weekend and fancied herself some bacon. After not being able to find the metal tray for cooking it under the grill, she loaded up the plastic tray and was seconds away from putting it under the grill.
Wow.
I stumped a 54-volt DeWalt battery on the end of a drill with my face.
The end. I had to explain to a friend that a beach doesn't have to be by the ocean.
I had to remind my cousin that when we went to a restaurant to eat, that just because it said fish of the day doesn't mean there's only one fish available.
Fish of the day are very rarely caught that day as well. It's probably fish of 2 weeks ago. What I had to explain how tax brackets work to a guy in his 40s. Oh, man, who refused a pay rise because he didn't want to pay more tax and have less money. I had to explain to my grandfather that he didn't have to leave his TV on just to record late-night TV with his VCR. He couldn't understand if the TV was off, how could the VCR record something that wasn't there?
So many people will not be of an age where they even understand what a VCR is and how it used to work. If you were to change channel where your parents were taping something,
Don't
run away from home.
I had to explain to my daughter, who is an adult, that beer batter fries are not made of beers. I also had to explain that I didn't actually have to have a passport to travel from Dunedin to Napier. Rolling down the motorway, I see my girlfriend look out the window at a wind turbine farm with bated breath. I wanted to see what would come out of the mouth of babes. She follows up somewhat dogmatically with, "How can they save fuel? They must cost a fortune to run." Of course, I shat myself laughing. Later that day on the return, she looks at the same wind farm and says proudly, now I know why you were laughing. And of course, I asked her to explain, and she said, "They're solar-powered windmills." We are no longer together.
In the last year alone, I've had to explain to people at least half my age that deodorant and antiperspirant are very much not the same thing. One makes you smell nice for a long time. The other one makes you smell nice for a short period of time. And then you smell like a goat. I work selling door handles and hardware. I have, without exaggeration, had to explain to homeowners dozens of times the reason their door isn't closing is that they've installed the lever the wrong way round, facing the outside of the door instead of pointing inwards.
So I had to explain that flies and mosquitoes are in fact 2 different species after a private school educated girl tried to tell me that flies turn into mosquitoes at night, and that's why you never see them at the same time.
I had to explain to my father that he didn't have to leave his PC on to receive his emails. He thought that if he turned it off, the email would never know where to go and just whistle around in cyberspace. I had to explain to my mate that tandoori chicken is not a breed of chicken.